Well, hi, I'm the Pine.
And I'm the Water. And welcome to A Cup of Tea,
a podcast about exploring life through each other's eyes.
while sharing a cup of tea with you.
And today's tea, sponsored by the Water. What am I drinking?
The trusty water. You're drinking an oolong with peach. There's something else on it. What was it? I don't remember the name. Sorry about that.
Well, it is very nice. I'm drinking it cold with a little bit of almond milk and some agave syrup. Does it have it? Did you put it?
Yeah,
it does have agave syrup.
It did.
It is very nice, if I do say so myself.
Yeah,
Who didn't make it.
Peachy oolong.
Yeah, it is indeed. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Rooibos raspberry, which I think might be my favorite tea.
It is very good. I might get that next time.
It's it's just raspberry rooibos with milk and also agave syrup, and it gives me flashbacks of my last year of college, which I don't know if it's something that I mentioned here or if I just said that to you.
What?
The flashback thing. Because
That this tea gives you flashbacks? I don't know.
I remember vividly telling you this, but since you're a goldfish,
you are not confusing me with someone else.
I am not. I am sure I am not.
I mean, you probably did tell me I am a goldfish. So
yeah, it's really good. I recommend it that you try it if you can. If you live in Mexico, somewhere with a tecito.
That's where we get it from.
Yeah, that's where we get our tea. You should totally try it.
Yeah.
So today.
Today. Okay, so we were not sure what to talk about.
Yeah.
As it kind of tends to be a thing. But recently.
I don't know what that says about us. About the whole concept for the I mean, it's a very solid concept. We like it, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that we need to have how far ahead do we plan these things? Because it is about exploring what's going on in our lives.
That is true.
So I think it's fine. It's okay. So recently, what happened in our lives, I mean, technically in mine, but then it also happened in hers.
Yes.
By default. So we do a cup of tea here at the Water's house. But we do Pockets in the Universe. If you haven't checked it out, we'll link it somewhere so you can see what that's about. We do Pockets in my place. And I live in a cluster. So I live with is that what they call it in English?
No, it has a closed community sort of thing. Gated community. No,
that sounds weird.
That's a little bit of a different. It is. No, that's what it's called.
Well, anyway, so there's an entrance, someone lets you in, and there's a bunch of neighbors in the same place. Yeah. It's enclosed. I guess that's different from regular suburbs.
Yeah.
Which are open. Pretty much the same. Anyways, so I have to live by the rules. And you know what? I've been living there for since March of this year, so a few months. And this is now September 2021. Don't know when you will actually be watching this, but just so you know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been there for a few months, and I haven't had that many problems there. Until recently, I thought it was pretty chill, the whole neighbory situation there. Because I've lived in other ones that are similar, and it's like talking to children. I promise you. But I can get into that later on. Let's focus on today's issue at hand. What happened? So we were doing. Well, the thing is that this lady has a record.
She does. Oh, Jesus.
There's this administrator lady that, manages the affairs of the cluster, let's just call it. And
I think, no, she's not a super.
No, I don't think, no.
That's not the equivalent. But she's the manager of neighborhood affairs.
Something, yes, exactly. That is what I said.
Yeah.
But anyways, the first time I started having issues with her was when, so for starters, there's this WhatsApp group where everybody in the neighborhood is in from the cluster. And my mom is in the group because she used to live there. And then when I moved in, my mom was like, oh, here's my daughter's phone. You'll add her to the group. She has not. Never. Even though I've told her before. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? There's a prior to the cat thing, which I haven't mentioned, but I'm trying to do this chronologically.
Yeah.
So the very first instance where I had an issue with her, or she had an issue with me, but not really, was that, so there's a pool that's available for the neighbors, and you can only sort of rent it out for an hour. It doesn't cost. It's part of, our cluster, so you just have to book it. Exactly. And I had booked it like a week in advance at some point on a Friday or something like that. And I was with Pablo, my boyfriend, and we got to the pool, and there was someone in the pool. It was a dad and his baby daughter. And we thought they were the previous people and that they were leaving. So we sat down on the grass, next to them. We didn't say anything. We're like, well, they'll just go,
Yeah.
But they weren't going. And we were just confused because it was 15 minutes in already.
Oh.
We still hadn't said anything to him. And he hadn't said anything to us, just lounging by the grass next to the pool.
Yeah.
And we're like, what is going on? So then he tells us, he's like, did you guys get the pool or something? We're like, yeah, for this hour. And he's like, oh no, I booked it today and it was free. And I was like, no, it was not, because I booked it days in advance. So now, I guess I go to the security person who's at the entrance, because they have the log of who gets the pool, because when you get it, you have to go and sign in, whatever. And then, so I was like, hey, so there's this person and they're using the pool, which, nothing wrong with that, but it is my time that I booked days in advance. And he said he booked it today, so I don't see what is happening here.
Yeah.
He's like, let me check with the administrator. That was the beginning of an awful relationship. I'm being so dramatic, but you have no idea how upset I am.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe by the end of this episode, they will understand. Yes. You will understand the impact,
the pain,
this lady has had on me. Anyways. Jesus Christ. Okay, so, and then the security person talks to the administrator lady, and they ask me, so when did you book the place? And I show them the text that I had with the administrator lady, days in advance. And then he was like, no, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, yes, I am right. So then they tell the guy, and he was so nice about it. He was like, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't know. They told me that I could come. And I was like, no, don't worry. It's fine. He's like, I also booked it for tomorrow or something, so I'll just use it tomorrow. I'm sorry. And I was like, no, sorry. Thank you. You were a very nice person.
Yeah. I guess you could share it.
Yeah, but Yeah. No. It's not that big of a pool. And, the thing there, it wasn't so much the misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Was that the administrator lady never addressed me.
Yeah.
It was always through the security guard. And even after it happened, because I texted her and I was like, hey, so there's someone in the pool and I booked it with you.
Yeah.
And she never replied,
Oh.
I was on scene. She saw me and she knew about it because the security person was talking to her while we were trying to figure it out. Yeah. And there was no reply. There was no acknowledgement of oh, I'm so sorry about the misunderstanding. Oh, here's the pool. Not even a sorry, a thank you, and nothing. That was the first time that she upsetted me, I guess.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that was the very first thing that happened. And then that was it. That was it. But then, okay, so I have 3 cats. And one of them likes to go out. He's not used to going to the bathroom inside the house, with the sand and, whatever. The litter. Is it the litter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you're the cat lady.
He likes to go outside. So I let him. He's very nice at being outside. Because when my other cat, Mina, when we used to live in an apartment and they could just go out through the patio. But Mina would go away and disappear for like 3 days and come back with like not a broken leg per se, but she had injuries from going out and coming back. And I was like, no, lady, you cannot go out anymore. Yeah. Plus, it's not healthy for them. But anyways, Socrates was very good. He would go out and he would be home the same day. Yes. He's a good kid.
Within like 2 hours. It's hilarious. He's like...
It's adorable.
He's a hilarious cat. He would, like, for anybody who's, like, watching the video version...
We can show you pictures of him.
He goes to the door, meows, so that you can let him out. And you let him out, and then comes back at some point, and then also meows to get back in. And you open the door, let him in, and he just, like, stands by the door waiting for you. Which is hilarious.
He's adorable. I love him so much. So that was it. That's what he does. He's a very good kid. He doesn't get in trouble. Except that 2 or 3 houses down from my house, there's a house with like 2 or 3 other cats. And 2 of them usually come to my house and wait outside for Socrates to come out. Which is adorable. But at the same time, not very, because they fight him. Socrates is spayed, and these cats aren't. They're both males, and they are not spayed. Neutered? Is it same?
I think it's spayed.
I don't know.
I'm like 90%, spayed. 85% sure it's spayed. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so they are. They're not, but Socrates is. So I think it's this kind of like male thing that they have against him. So they fight. And, you know, me and the owner of the other cats, I have never spoken to each other, but we've came to this unspoken agreement of like whenever we heard our cats fighting, it was hilarious. So let's just say that I'm in my house and I hear that Socrates is in trouble fighting some cat. So I go out, my neighbor goes out, we both go get our cats and just go back in.
Yeah, and I think that's hilarious.
No words spoken, no ill intentions, just like, the cats, go get it, go back inside. And that was it. It was very nice. I had no issue with that. Plus it wasn't like, you know, too bad of a encounter between them. It was okay. And that was that. It was fine. That had happened several times. And no one was complaining. But if there was a complaining, I was like, my cat's spayed, your cats are looking for trouble. They come to my house and look for my cat. But anyways, that didn't happen. So what did happen, this story, what did happen was that someone in the cluster was complaining about the cats. And I'm like, what exactly are they complaining? Because I couldn't actually see the text because I wasn't in the group, in the chat. So my mom texted me and she's like, don't let your cats out anymore because because there's a complaint that the cats shouldn't be outside anymore. And if they see them outside, they're going to poison them. And I seriously, like in my soul, got so upset. I'm like, in a sense, glad that I wasn't in the group because I was going to unleash all sorts of hell upon these people. Because I could not for my life understand
what kind of problem they could present to somebody that they could poison them.
Not only that, but the fact that that was their solution, that they were up for it, that they were just, yeah, sure, it's just a cat, like, it's not alive, like, it's not someone's pet, someone's family, like, you know, even, you know, poisoning rats is also not okay, but it's like a pest and whatever, and like, still, but this is someone's pet, like, it's not, like, how? And because they were outside doing what? You know? Okay, so that was the actual seed for my feelings for these people in general. Whoever was complaining, because I still don't know. So, yeah. You can see the festering happening. Yes. And then several things kept happening. It happened to her, and so she came to my house. You can tell that part of the story.
Well, I don't even know when this was now. A couple weeks ago or something?
Something like, maybe a couple weeks ago.
So it has been raining. For about a month. No, for like 2 weeks or something. Or 3 weeks. And, well, this is a place where it doesn't get much rain in general. So when it rains...
I mean, we're on top of a hill.
Yeah.
So, like, it rains a lot, but there's no, like, water damage, per se.
Yeah.
Or flooding.
So, we were recording a pocket. So, what happens when we record a pocket, if you haven't checked our Instagram stories for behind the scenes, is I usually take all the stuff, like the cameras, well, except for Pablo's camera. But, I have the lights and the camera and the tripod.
Most of our equipment is brought by her.
Yeah, so I have to get inside, bring everything down, and then park, usually. But I think this was a Saturday or some weekend where there were a lot of people. So the lady at the entrance, the security guard, was like, well, I don't know that you can park inside because there's, the visitor parking is full. But then she's super nice. She's the nicest person in that place.
And she knows how crazy people are. Me and her, like, joke about it.
So she was like, oh, you know what? Because there's always, I don't know who owns an ambulance in that place.
I know.
But somebody does. And so she said, well, if there's nobody behind the ambulance, you can just park there. Mm. And so I thought, okay, perfect. I'll just leave everything there. Oh, and Lano was with us. That's also why we had so much more stuff to take down.
That day was with Lalo?
Yeah, because I picked him up and then and I was surprised by the amount of equipment that he had brought with him, which was really nice for us.
Amazing.
So we had to take all these boxes out. Like, it was 2 boxes that he brought and then the super bag where we carry all our stuff usually. So we took everything out and then he came with me to park the car. And so if you live in a corner, for the people that are watching, I'm trying to explain this in the most, I don't know, in a way that makes sense to somebody that is just listening. But she lives in a corner, and you have to, like, turn left. If it's a circuit. I can't speak today. It's like a block, and then you turn left, and your house is on that corner, like on the left. So to go park behind the ambulance, which is on that corner before you turn left into your house, I had to go back, like reverse, for 5 meters?
Yeah, I was thinking
on one side, like, and then another 5 meters. Like 10, let's say 20 meters tops.
Which I think is a lot.
Right?
I don't think
Which
it was
I think
meters.
the traffic, what's the name of that? Like,
speed?
No. I mean, in the city, you are allowed to reverse on a street, I think, for 50 meters tops.
Oh, wow, that's a thing?
Or something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I didn't know.
We can revisit the transit law thingy or whatever. So I backed down. There was nobody on the street.
She did it safely. She didn't do it recklessly.
My car has the sensor thingy, camera thingy, so I can see where I'm going, and I can see that I'm not bumping anybody or, so I was backing down and I turned, like, super slowly, because also it was raining, like, it was raining a lot, right? So I was backing down and whatever. And then finally I parked. Everything worked out. Fine. Lalo and I got out of the car. We went in. We started recording the pocket. And was it the next day? Or I think it was the next day.
Maybe
or 2
the
days
next
later.
day. Yeah, something like that.
No, I think it must have been the Monday, because I was at the gym when I got your text. Yeah. And the funny thing was that I think I was at the pool or something, because I didn't have my phone with me. So I just got the notification on the watch. And I saw, like, the thumbnail for the video. And I was like, oh, what is that? Because it was all blurry and I couldn't see it. So then I was walking to the locker and I got my phone and I saw it and I was like, what is that about? And I was just so, like, part of me was feeling bad. I was like, because you said that you were getting a fine because of that, right? And I was like, oh shit. And that reminded me of where Gina lives, our other friend who was also helping us with the pockets. She, like, visitors also get fined if they go too fast or something. But their fines are insane. They're like 1,000 pesos fines or whatever. And I was like, oh shit. You know?
Yeah.
So I said, what's going on? Like, and I saw the video, and then you said that they said, or that this administrative lady said, that I could have caused an accident.
Yeah, that was her thing.
And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was so careful. There was nobody. And then I saw on the video that there's a car that comes up, I think, at the end when I finished parking or something. And I was like, I was being super careful. My flashers were on, with blinkers. I was moving super slowly because I know it was raining. You know, what the hell is wrong with this person?
I know.
So I started hating her at that point.
Yeah, she did. She joined me in my cause. Yeah, that was the thing. You did that, and I'm pretty sure I've done it before. I'm pretty sure I've seen other people do it. So I don't know if everybody's getting fined the way we are. But yeah, so she texted me the video. There's a security camera that saw your car go in reverse and do that. And yeah, that was her excuse. Like, I'm fining you because that could have caused an accident. And you, like, at that point, I was just like, fine, whatever. Yeah. Didn't even like argue with her or anything. But you know, that's the kind of person she is. Because even before that, there was another incident with the cats where Socrates got out, but I went after him. And then she was like, I'm going to fine you because your cat was outside. And she sent me a picture of a cat. And I'm like, that's not my cat. She's like, yes, it is. It was outside your house. And she sends me a video of a cat coming from, like, around my house. And I was like...
Oh, I thought it was from her house. Do you know where she lives?
I don't know which one's her house.
I would love to know where she lives.
But anyway, she shows me this video. And it kind of looks like the cat is coming from my house. And I was like... Yeah, that cat and the gray one come to my house to look for Socrates, but that is not my cat. You can see it in the video. The thing is that Socrates is black and white, and this cat is whiter than Socrates, but instead of black, has kind of like brown bits here and there of him. But I guess the white could confuse you. But if you look at it, like, that is not Socrates. And I was like, lady... This is not my cat. Yeah. So, like, fuck off. And I show her a picture. I had taken this picture. One, because I thought it was adorable. Yeah. And a second reason was because I was like, this might come in handy. Yeah. There's a picture I have, and we can put it in the video, of Socrates waiting by my door. One time that I had to leave and I couldn't find him. So when I came back, he was at my door. And then there's the white cat in question and the gray one from the house, like 2 or 3 houses down, that are like just there waiting for him. So I sent her that picture and I was like, that cat and the gray one come to look for my cat. So, like, no. Yeah. And again, there was no response. Ugh. That's what really bothers me up until now. Then when something else bothered me. But anyways, up until that point, you know, she didn't find me because it wasn't my cat. But there was no like, oh, sorry for the misunderstanding. There was no like, oh, okay, I see that's not your cat. Nothing. She just left me in scene, and that's the end of the conversation. And I was like, that is not okay. Like, if you're going to be an administrator, if you're going to be a manager, you need to have some sort of people skills. Yeah. You know, like, what's that about? But anyways, so that had been happened. The epitome of our issues with this lady was this past weekend. Yeah. We were doing Saturday, a pocket. I think. We were doing a pocket with Duelo con Amor, who are these girls from my from college that I went with. They did psychology with me, and they have this sort of group.
Like community.
Yeah, I guess that's what, you know, they have this project, which is Duelo con Amor, and they talk about the grieving process of like losing a loved one. They both lost their moms, and I lost my dad when I was in college. So we had them for a pocket, and pockets on its own, it becomes to me at least, it becomes very emotionally charged. Even if it's like funny, like talking about college, or if it's talking about losing a parent, it's just emotionally charged for me. And this one was even more so, very, very emotional, because we were talking about grieving, and when we touched on the subject of my dad and things like that. And plus, it was a little stressful because we were having a lot of issues.
Oh, yeah.
One of our guests, one of the girls, was having an allergic reaction to the cats. Which she wasn't, it's not like she was like, oh, I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, no.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah, it was very disastrous.
Yeah, she had to leave in the middle of it.
I felt so bad for her.
But that is, that's what happened. So we were doing the pocket, and my friend had to leave. She went to the pharmacy that's on outside my cluster, right around the corner from where I live, to get what is it called?
Antihistaminic. I don't know, for
allergy
allergies.
medicine, exactly.
Yeah, like the
and she came back into the cluster, but the water was parked outside my house, so she couldn't park there. So she just kind of, instead of going to the visitors to go back into my house, she just stopped a little bit ahead in front of another house to just text us and be like, you know what, I'm not feeling good. I'm afraid my throat might close. I'm just gonna go. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't stay. And then she left. So the moment that it took her to text us that while she was parked in front of someone else's house, someone magically complained, and this administrator lady texted me, and she was like, okay, so the water's fine for going backwards was 200 pesos. Fine.
Yeah.
But then this lady was like, I'm going to find you 650 pesos because you cannot be in the way of someone else's house per se. And at first, when she first sent it to me and I saw the picture, I did not understand what she was talking about. It was like what? I even wrote to her. I was like, I don't get what you're saying. And she wrote to me saying that, this person was in someone else's house and we're going to find you because that is against the rules. And you should let your visits know that is against the rules. And I'm like, am I supposed to, whenever I have a visitor, text them what the rules are? And I was like, you know what? I am very sorry that this was an inconvenience for someone. My friend had a medical emergency. She was having an allergic reaction. She just stopped to text me and she left. She was not bothering anyone for more than 10 minutes. Yeah. And I think and I would say that that's a stretch. I don't think she was there for that long.
I think she's not even for 5 minutes.
Exactly. And I very politely said to her, I'm gonna, I'll appreciate if you let
this one go?
If you let this one. Not if. I was like, I'll appreciate you letting this go. You know, I was very affirmative, but being nice. Hopefully. I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was very upset. So after I texted her that, she was like, no, these are the rules and there is no way. And then I got really upset.
Yeah. I think, something? It's really funny that it's something that you have talked about. But yeah, you very rarely get upset. And I don't know that I can count them because I probably don't remember the times that you've been angry.
Yeah.
At somebody or, so I think it was very funny, but not.
Witness?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is something I have mentioned before, and we were talking about that day, because I am on a mission to appreciate my anger. I don't get upset or angry very easily, and at some point in my childhood that I don't remember, I learned, this is my hypothesis, my psychological self-analysis. At some point, I realized that anger didn't get me what I needed. So I learned to not be angry because I lost every time I got angry.
Look at that.
So it has helped me a lot in my life to not be an angry person, I think. Because I see my brother, who is a very angry person, and doesn't help him in any way. But it's come to a point where it's not a good thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because not being angry, I guess we have talked about how emotions are, messages from yourself to yourself. And anger is one of those, anger and fear, kind of, are the ones that warn you and that try to protect you. So fear is a little bit more like physical danger, like don't die kind of thing. But anger is more of a social warning, and to help you set limits so that you don't go into things that you don't want to go to. So you get angry so that you don't go there, or so that you can, like, if someone makes you angry, it's for you to learn what's making you angry about that situation. So that you understand that there's a limit that you need to set, that kind of thing. So that's something I didn't get because I wouldn't get angry. So yeah, I discovered in recent years that that's something I need to work on. So on the Pockets Day, I was like, I will appreciate this anger that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But at the same, you know what? The thing is, even if this lady is not the best at communicating, or, the thing that we were talking about in the previous cup of tea, about this, like, message and the sender and the receiver and this kind of stuff, even if I just need to deal with the fact that she's not the best at it, that's not the problem. It's not, it is a part of the problem. I will say part of the problem is how she says things. And the fact, you and I talked about it, and how it's not that there's rules per se, but the fact that there's no warning. It wasn't like, oh, this car is outside of this house and you need to move it. If not, we will fine you. It was just like, oh, she was there for a minute. Yeah, I'm fining you 600 pesos. That kind of thing. Those are like the little things that are piled up in that moment. But the very core, the very central thing that upsets me and that really stays with me is this lack of empathy from when we were talking about what to talk about today. It was like, oh, people with too much power in their day-to-day lives, you know? And I know. It's this lack of empathy where I'm like, you know what, lady? I don't know if you have something against me or not. You've been trying to find me for a few months now, and I try not to argue with you. But the lack of empathy of, like, this was a sort of emergency, Lucy was scared that her throat might close. She was just texting us. It was a spur of the moment thing. And
yeah, and there's I feel like there's several things that in this case come into play and that can be seen in probably many scenarios, like through life, and somebody that, like you that are listening to us or watching us probably know somebody like this. But I think it's a combination of she has terrible communication. Like, she's just, in this position of power where she doesn't add you to the group. So you don't even know what's going on.
I know. My mom has to tell me.
She won't give you a warning. Yeah. She's just
and did I tell you, when it was your thing, you're fine, she didn't tell me. She told my mom. She jumped me. Yeah. And I'm like, lady, I'm the one who lives there. She knows my mom doesn't live there anymore. Yeah. Why is she, accusing me with my mom? And my mom didn't even take it into account because she doesn't know your car. So she figured, like, oh, this is not her. Yeah. She didn't even tell me. So then the lady figured she had to talk to me about it. Oh. But she does these kinds of things where she doesn't acknowledge me.
Yeah. And so I think, and the fact that she doesn't respond to you, like, she doesn't answer messages, she just leaves you on scene, it's like...
Very rude, if you ask me.
What sort of person, like, who elected her to be the administrator of that community thing,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm assuming that you have to be chosen by the
I would
people
think so.
there.
I was not there
right?
when that happened.
So, I just, this person is, like, and the rules thing, like, I think that if you have a place where you share space with people and you have a set of rules, well, they have to tell you what the rules are, or they have to make them available so that you know, and also,
If I'm not in the group, what do I know that the rules are? Like,
yeah, and because I also think it's a lot of common sense, like, I understand, of course, I cannot park.
I should not park in someone else's house. I agree.
Yeah, totally. Or, I mean, the pool thing, I mean, the renting it out, I get it, so, but the fact that she does not seem to care at all, and I don't know if that applies to other people, I would be really curious to know if there's somebody else that is not on the group chat that gets the same treatment that you do.
Or someone in the... If I was in the group chat, I could see, because technically I think that whenever there's a fine, they post it in the group so everybody sees it. So I'm very curious to see how often and what are the things that they're doing that people get fined for.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm so curious to know about the thing that I told you, like, what do they do with the fine money? I would love to know.
Yeah, because you did ask me that, and I was like, I don't know, I guess maintenance and stuff, or, security, but we already pay for maintenance.
Yeah,
so then, because again, when next to the pool, there's this, like, room that you can also rent, but for this one you have to pay, which I find insane.
Yeah.
It's already part of the cluster, just like the pool. Why do I have to rent it? Because it's not like, if you want to have a party there, they give you chairs, they give you tables, they give you nothing. Nothing. And nothing.
Not even toilet paper.
Not even... Not even toilet paper. There are bathrooms there. There are showers, which I was impressed to see. But
me too.
And it's a very nice place. You pay to be there by living in that cluster, and you have that amenity. But then...
I'm sorry, that sounded funny.
What, the amenity?
Yeah, but it sounded to me like amenity. But anyway, continue. Sorry to distract.
I shall continue with the rant. So, what is this money for?
Yeah.
Like, if I was there when whoever voted for this decision to get money from the renting of that thing, I would be like, why? Because I know of other, like, friends of mine that live in other clusters with pools, with spaces for partying. And of course they don't have to pay for them. So I'm like, who decided that?
Yeah.
But anyways, like, fine. I did have my birthday party there, and I did pay for it. And when it was my birthday party.
Yes.
Which was after her fine, but before the pocket fine thingy.
Yeah, parking thing, yeah.
I was so scared that she was just gonna fine me for everything. So
yeah,
I texted her to ask for the place and to send the money in. And I was like, and she said, she texted me and she was like, anything that your guests do, you will be fined for. And I was like, So what are these rules I need to know, lady? Because otherwise she'll just fine me and
for whatever pops into her head.
I know. And Jesus Christ.
And she could just you know what also bugs me is that I think she could make everything up, and because you don't know and you're not on the group chat, you would be like, I mean.
I don't know if she's as diabolical to make things up to charge me money, but
I mean, I don't know her, but I can totally see that happening.
So yeah, I specifically asked her for the things that we needed to look out for. Yes. Anyways, we did not get fined that day, although we were close to because
of the parking.
Because of the parking. Okay, so outside the room party thing space, there are like 5 spaces technically where the guests can park so that they're not in the visitors parking. And the security lady told you that you could park in the yellow line per se.
Yeah.
So then later on, the security lady comes up to me, and also I have a text from the administrator lady, but I didn't see it in time, so then the security lady had to tell me, and she was like, I'm sorry for all the inconveniences, but now they're saying, and everybody's complaining that you can't park there. And I'm like, who is complaining? Who am I bothering?
Yeah.
So she was very ashamed. Because she had told us that it was okay, and then supposedly it wasn't. So, Jesus. Anyways, yeah. So then later, I saw the text from the lady, and she's like, "You can't park there. I'm gonna fine you." And I was like, "I was told I could park there, and then I moved. So stop telling me shit." But yeah, my biggest issue in the core, and the reason, like, I don't know if you can see this on the camera. But I am getting so upset. Yeah, so worked up. Like, I can feel it in my body. And that's part of my appreciation for my anger, to, like, see how it feels in my body. Which I don't love. I don't love the feeling of anger. Like, I know. It's, like, heavy. It hurts my chest. It makes my arms kind of... like, I know I'm trying to appreciate it, but I don't love it. I really don't. It's not nice. It's not a nice feeling to have. Which, I guess, evolution-wise, it's not supposed to be good, so that you avoid it. And you work so that...
do something about it.
Exactly. Yes. So, yeah, what bothers me about her, it's not just all the things that we've said about her lack of communication and how abrupt she is, the lack of warning, and the way these people have agreed that this is okay. Because... I don't know if I told you, or this is just my personal rant that I was having with myself, or both. But I was like, in this sort of core belief of myself that rules are not supposed to be black or white. They're not supposed to be just this unmovable thing. And someone that is in charge of the rules should have the intelligence to know when it applies and when you can make an exception. Because otherwise, it's just like, oh no, like black, white, and that's the only way it is. Then there's no room for, like, humanity. And it's one of the things that if I had engaged in this, like, war of texting that I kind of wanted to engage in, I would have texted her. But I stopped myself because, like, it's one of those things that I'm like, it's not worth it. I don't want to put my energy in this. So the most energy I put in it, it's my ranting. And then I need to let it go because I get worked up and I don't like how it feels. But yeah, that kind of thing where the rules and, like, there's this set of rules when she texted me. After I was like, I'll appreciate it that you're going to let this go. And she was like, no, unfortunately, you know what? Like, that's not a thing and there's a rule and you need to respect it. And I was like, I left her unseen then. I was like, I'm not even gonna support this. Not gonna feed it. I'm just, you know what, lady? You do you. But this is wrong. And I called my mom, because then, of course, this lady texted my mom.
It feels so...
It feels very disrespectful to me. She texted my mom.
She's treating you like a child.
She is. My mom doesn't live there. There's no, like, why?
It's like, why can't you respect that? Yeah, it's not your mom. You're the one that lives there. She should be dealing with this problem with you directly and not triangulate your mom into the conversation.
Yeah. But she did.
But I don't think she's mature enough to do that. So,
she texted my mom, and then my mom texted me, and she's like, what's happening? They want to find you again. And then, like, I didn't have it in me to just text her. So I called her.
Yeah.
And I was like, so upset to the core of my soul. Like, it really pains me. But anyways, I called my mom and I was like, seriously, this is how I started the conversation with my mom. I was like, I just cannot with this lady.
Yeah,
mom.
I can hear it in my head now. No puedo, mamá, no puedo.
I really can't. This lady, there is such a lack of empathy and understanding coming from her that I can't deal with her. And I explained to her the situation, Lucy had an allergic reaction. She went to the pharmacy. She came back. She stopped to text me. She left. That's what happened. And my mom was very understanding. She was like, why is this a thing if that's what happened? And I'm like, I don't know. This lady. And then she was like, oh, I'll talk to her. And I was like, fine. You deal with it because I can't. And later that day, I called my mom and I was like, so how did it go? And she's like, oh, I called her, but she didn't pick up. And then I texted her, and then she didn't answer. I was like, well, this lady, that's just her. So I don't know if I'm actually being fined for that or not. If it's like in the books and I'm going to find out about it later on. Or if she let it go. I'll let you know. But anyways. I talked to my mom the other day that I saw her after this happened. And she was like, from the way you sounded, I thought someone had actually hit you. I thought something actually happened to you physically, that someone attacked you. And I was like, wow. I do feel attacked. I do feel upset. Yeah. That I was in such... And then I explained to her that we were doing the pocket, that we talked about my dad, that I was in a very sensitive place.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's what it was. And I'm like, sure, I explained this to Pablo about how I was feeling, and I told him I usually have some kind of armor for the day-to-day, just like so that a lot of things don't bother me. So when we were during the pocket and getting to that sensitive place about therapy, going to therapy, talking about my dad and that kind of stuff, it's like letting the armor down. And it's not like this special, super awesome armor that I put on for a specific reason. It's just my day-to-day armor. So I put it down, and I was doing the pocket, and then it just felt like this lady fucking shot me while I was down. And you know what? I understand. She didn't know, It's not like I was down and she purposely shot me. She didn't know, and that's okay. I don't blame her for shooting me. I blame her for the lack of empathy she had of the situation that just made it way worse. Because then it kind of digs, the arrow she shot at me. I could have just pulled it out and that was fine. I would have left it there. I would not be so angry at her. But the fact that she kind of with the whole, not being understanding.
Yeah.
The rules thing, no, this is immovable and that's just the way it is and you have to deal with it. And it just takes me to this perception of the world and the things that are wrong with the world, with people that are not understanding, that lack empathy, that just think that things are black and white. And, that just gives it so much more weight than just this misunderstanding. So, there you go. That was my experience of this freaking thing.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you could rant to your heart's content. Mm-hmm. I don't know that. I feel like at this exact moment, it's like one of those things of, you have to find the things that you can change and the things that you can't, and learn to accept them and all that stuff.
Have you seen these? Give me coffee to change the things that I can and wine to accept the things that I can't.
No, I had not seen that.
Yeah.
I think that this... No, I don't think you can change her.
Of course. Definitely not.
That is out of the question, 100%. But maybe you can find a way. I mean, on one hand, I'm like, you're probably not going to be there that much longer, so.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving. So part of me is like, fuck you, lady. Don't have to deal with you.
But then another part of me is like, somebody has to do something about this person, because...
But you know what? The thing is that I don't know if it's her or everybody there agrees with her. Which if they do, I find insane.
Yeah, that's my other... Like, I'm dying to know.
Me too.
What everybody else thinks about her. And because you don't talk to your neighbors, I don't know that... Because, I mean, the security guard lady, of course, she knows everything and she's super nice. And she knows what a bitch this administrator lady is. And I don't think that the two of you are alone in knowing that she is an asshole.
I don't know.
And I'm guessing there should be at least some other person there that shares that same feeling. And, you know, maybe other people don't care because they're not getting the same treatment that you are. But then at the same time, I don't know, it's like... I feel like there's times, these times where you have to decide whether to take action or not. I would love to go to this person and be like, what's your beef against me? You know, like, or maybe not confront her that directly of like, what's your beef against me? But like, hi, I'm sorry we've been having all this trouble. I would like to understand why. Please add me to the fucking group chat. You know? Because, I don't know. It's just, it is so bewildering to me that she can be that obnoxious. Like, she's so... The entire thing, like the no warning, no empathy, no understanding, and not caring. Just
the like black and white rules.
Yeah.
Just like, have you had? I'm guessing you have, but do you remember? Can you think of any example of a moment where like
I was trying to
an authority figure was so black and white they couldn't see that there's always gray?
Well, I had. This is gonna have to be a whole other cup of tea if we get into it.
I wonder. I'm so curious now.
No, it's just like, you know, the other day when we ran into each other at the mall. I was so angry at my dad because of something that is kind of similar to this, where I have this point of view, and instead of him being like, maybe it's not the black and white thing. Exactly. But it is this thing that he said to me, like, no, you have to, where I was so angry that I told him, right? And I told him, like, I need to buy a lipstick to get my mind up.
Which is adorable.
A consolation price.
Yeah, she did.
Lipstick. Because, I was so angry that he was not understanding my point of view. And part of me in that moment, it's like, this is another cup of tea idea that we have had. Part of me is like, am I wrong? Is it like my empathy voice inside my head too loud? Or like... Am I the one that has to think things over because I am wrong? Or is the other person wrong? Are we both wrong? Like, how much should I give in or like stand my ground? Kinda. And, well, I still don't know the answer. But,
it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
That's like...
that one in particular.
That one in particular, because we are talking about your grandma and neurological situations. And, you know, because in another scenario, you know, I think we kind of talked about it, and it was that it needs to be a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know... So, go on.
I kind of lost it now. But, in this case, I think when you encounter somebody that is like that, I don't know that it's a similar experience maybe, but I had this thing of somebody hired me to make a video for them. But they were trying to get like a discount or whatever, and it bugged, like, at the end of the day, that particular thing bugged me, because first they were trying to get a discount, and then they were asking for extra stuff, and then they took forever to pay me. And so to me that felt very like abusive, like taking advantage of somebody, which I think is kind of what's happening to you. Like, she's taking advantage of the fact that you're not on the group chat, you don't know the rules, you're sort of new. She can talk to your mom and bypass you to when she has a problem, or when she makes up a problem, I will say. So that sort of wanting to take advantage of people behavior, I think, is sort of there as well, and that triggers me so much.
Trigger is the right word. And you know what I was just thinking? I don't know if it applies to yours, but this, or how it could apply to yours. But in this scenario of, like, what if the neighbors are assholes themselves? And, like, let's just say, because, for example, when you were parking outside the salon thing, for the party, and apparently someone or a lot of someones were complaining that you were parked in the yellow thing.
Yeah. Which, I get that. I get it. The yellow line is there for a reason. Sure. You should not park.
Sure, I agree. But my point is that how are you actually bothering them? That someone, because if a car can go by, if, like, there's an actual motive behind the complaint, I get it. If it's just a complaining because it's breaking the rules, just because it's breaking the rules, then I'm a little suspicious. I'm a little bit like, what is it doing to you? Why did you? So I think it allows a sort of, I don't know what to call it, but let's just say someone who it wasn't bothering that you were parked on the yellow line is like, just telling the administrator lady, like, oh, hey, look, someone broke the rule, you need to tell on them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now the administrator lady just has the power to do it because the complaining feeds that power. And it just becomes a sort of cycle of ill intention, just like, ooh, I'm gonna get you, you broke the rule, that kind of thing. Instead of, because you can complain to the administrator lady, then there's no conversation between the actual neighbors. Because I don't know who's complaining about my cat. I don't know who complained that you were in the yellow line. I don't know who these people are. And I feel like if they talk to me about something, we could have an actual conversation instead of just like, nah, wrong. I feel like there's a big void there that should be acknowledged, but people. So
I do think she needs to get a life, because who spends their afternoons looking at security camera footage to find people?
I don't know how that works, but
anyway, well, thank you for joining us for today's rant.
It's not a rant. I mean, it is a rant. I'll admit it is a rant.
It can liberate you today.
Yes, it can. But I don't want the idea of it being a rant sort of let go of the fact that there's an actual issue when it comes to, lack of empathy, misunderstanding, people just being too in their way to listen to someone, to have communication and, that kind of stuff. Jesus. Jesus.
Anyway. But I mean, ranting does. I'm not saying don't solve the problem, but just like find an outlet for the anger. Because if you're angry while solving the problem, that probably won't get you a solution.
Yeah, no.
Right?
I agree. Definitely. So, I mean, I do agree that the rant has a sort of therapeutic outcome to it.
It does.
So it's okay.
Yes.
But definitely like getting worked up and stuff, it's a little uncomfortable for me.
Well, you can channel that anger into something creative.
Yeah. Like this.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully somebody will find it amusing like I did. It's a little funny. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can see that it's funny. It's probably way funnier for you than for our viewer, just because you know me and the whole thing of like, you don't really get upset that often.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for joining us for today's cup of tea.
Do you have any recommendation that we can give? I don't feel like we really talked about something. It's because we usually get our recommendations from like something we said during the cup of tea.
Okay. I don't know that it can be a recommendation. Because I think that many people may have seen it. But I watched Luca. The movie over
it's
the
so
weekend.
Cute.
It is
I watched it recently too.
I even cried a little at the end.
I really like it. It's very cute.
Yeah. And it reminded me...
Pablo felt very, very connected to Luca. Like, that was him. Yeah.
That's cute. Well, I would recommend that you watch Luca and Pixar movies in general.
They are very wholesome.
They are. They are seriously great movies.
They are.
I don't know. Maybe the worst of them all is Cars 3. I don't know what other movie by Pixar is bad. Cars 3 is terrible. But yeah, watch Luca, and if you... It gave me Call Me By Your Name vibes.
How? I mean, yes, but how?
Well, because I will say that I came to the movie a little, I don't know if biased, but I read somewhere that it felt like a coming-of-age movie for a gay child. Like a gay boy or something.
Really?
Yeah. And as I was watching it, I feel like that got too much in my brain. Like, if I hadn't read that before, maybe I wouldn't have gotten that from the movie.
I didn't get it.
So, yeah.
But if you tell me now, I can see it. Like...
Yeah. So...
But I think, it's that kind of thing where you can just get what you need from the movie.
Yeah.
To a point where, like, if you're a gay person or even a gay boy and you see it and you feel connected to it, then it does that for you. Or like Pablo, who has so much anxiety, he sees it and this whole, like, Silencio Bruno, that kind of thing helped him so much. It's not from a gay perspective, but it helped him. And, so each person can get something out of it.
Yes. If you haven't seen Call Me By Your Name, you are missing out on a lovely movie.
Wait, so how does that relate?
Because knowing the thing that I read about it being a gay kid sort of movie, I thought of Call Me By Your Name because it was like in Italy during the summer with like an older, I don't know necessarily that Alberto is older.
He kind of seems older, but...
He seems older, right? So it kind of reminded me of like the Armie Hammer character. So yes, watch.
Yeah, this kind of like
Luca,
teaching the little one about life or
name.
something.
Yes, exactly. And read Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
I do like it.
Yes. And I know, well, I don't even want to get into like the whole peach joke thing, but anyway. But watch Call Me By Your Name. Read Call Me By Your Name. Watch Luca. And tell us what you think.
Yeah.
And we will meet you again for another cup of tea.
Fan.
In 1 week.
Yes. That.
We got it.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. I hope someone can get something out of this.
Some fun.
And, I am actually very interested to learn and to know about your experiences with these kinds of people. Or, it's not like I don't actually have something against this lady. But it is that she has triggered these feelings in me. So, like, if something like that has happened to you, I'm curious.
Yes. Tag us. Now we have Instagram. Definitely.
We do. We'll put it somewhere.
Yes. And hashtag a cup of tea. And, well, we can say it for people that are now watching us.
But is it going to be, are we doing hashtag a cup of tea or hashtag
Sure.
acotcast? It should be acotcast.
Sure.
Because a cup of tea could be other stuff.
Yeah, of course I know there's a lot of cup of tea stuff around the internet.
See, hashtag acotcast.
ACOT.
Cast. Jinx.
So thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
To watch more episodes of A Cup of Tea, click the link on the right. If you want to watch Pockets in the Universe, go to the playlist on the left.